Right, we'll be looking at CVs now, and we'll cover purpose, rules, and contents of a CV. So the purpose of a CV is to get you an interview, and although CVs is Latin for curriculum vitae, which means life history, generally speaking, an employer does not want to see everything there is to know about you. It really needs to focus on saying enough and not too much. And thinking about this in the context of the employer's world. So when we put stuff in the CV, there's quite a bit of content, as we'll have in a moment, but we need to make it relevant, sufficient enough so that it gets you an interview. Because in the CV, you're actually saying, I can fix it for you. Okay, so the various rules and conventions associated with producing a CV. First one is that it needs to be kept to no more than 2 pages in length. When we write the CV, it needs to be neat and tidy. It needs to be accurate and truthful. It needs to be written in a very positive tone. And when it comes to talking about the career and the work experience that you've had, that needs to be shown in chronological order, starting with the most recent first. It needs to be quite well laid out. Be careful of the fonts that are used, the colours and the sizes, and the use of tables and headings, because we do want to make sure that it's very easy to read, that it's not a very complicated document when it comes to trying to printing it out or trying to scroll through it. Every part of the CV must be grammatically correct, and there must be no spelling errors. If there are grammatical errors in spelling, it's very easy for an employer to take one look at that and then throw that away, which would be a shame if you spent a lot of time and effort in developing a CV. So correct spelling and grammar. It must be customized to the specific job or role, so you do a general one, but then it needs to be tweaked to fit the role and the job that's actually being applied for. The CV very much has to be about you and written by you, sounds like you and looks like you. So whilst it's quite okay for others to help build your CV, it's got to come across as it's really your CV. Although, of course, it's a good idea to make sure that someone else checks it to avoid issues with errors. So it does need a little bit of thinking about and time to produce. You'll see lots of different formats of CVs if you look online, but generally speaking, they are the same similar headings that applies for a CV. You tend to start with the personal information, your name, address, phone number, and email, and then go on to talk about the personal profile. It's a combination of what you can offer the employer from your skills that you've got. These are technical or trade skills like finance and customer service, care skills, as well as behavioural attributes as well, such as being hardworking and trustworthy. Those key skills are then bullet pointed normally in 5 or 6 ways in the 3rd section. Again, the trade skills first, what we're paying you to do, which is if you're a plumber, to fix boilers and to do gas central heating, that sort of thing, and follow that then with some general behavioural terms like teamwork, being organised, problem solving. Employment history comes next in reverse order, chronologically speaking. Followed, and in there we put what you've done, not how you've done it, but putting achievements in there is a good thing as well. Education and qualifications follows the next section, including your GCSEs, NVQs, A-levels. Other information is a useful thing to put in the CV because it helps the employer to know how flexible you are in terms of your ability to drive. If you've got a first aider certificate, if you've got DBS, data barring, it means you can work with vulnerable people and children, and more up to date if you're trained in the issues associated with COVID-19. Issues and hobbies is the penultimate section really, where we put in there things that make you a human being. It shows the areas of interest that you have, the sports that you do, the creative activities, as art, music and so on. Very useful to have that in the CV. It helps to put the human touch to an individual. And finally, whilst we don't need to specify who the referees are, if you've got people who can vouch for you, then it's okay to put a sentence in there that says references can be made available upon request. So there we have CVs. Finally, your CV is your marketing document. It's there, it's about you, written by you and describes you. And it's quite okay to produce a master general CV, but then it needs to be customised to suit the occasion which you're going for, the job, and so on. But once you've done a CV, it does need to continually be updated and be revised with the changing circumstances that you go through your career. So in that sense, from now on, remember, a CV is for life. Okay, thank you for listening and good luck.